Hello everyone! Welcome back, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today we are going to do part 2 in my How to Get Into Colorful Makeup series, and I got quite a few requests to do a part 2 of this, so that's what we're going to do today. Today we are going to be scrapping every brown shade. We will not be using any browns, any neutrals. Today is the day for color. I hope you are ready. I'm going to as well do examples like I did last time, and I'm also going to go into a little bit of color theory just to kind of help you guys out with knowing which colors will look good together, which colors will make sure that your looks aren't looking muddy, and to be as vibrant and powerful as possible. So let's just get into it. So the first look that I want to do is going to be the absolute easiest way to get into like a very colorful look, and it's going to just be a monochromatic look. So I'm dipping into my Freak palette by Juvia's Place. I'm going to put this green shade all over my lid and also on my lower lash line. And I'm just using that same shade with a fluffy brush to blend out the edges on top. And so this is obviously super easy. You could leave it here if you want, or you can do what I'm going to do next. I'm going to put a foiled green shimmer on my lid, and I'm just going to plop that right onto my lid. And I'm just going back in with my blending brush and just blending out the edges. And there you go, you have a green smoky eye. So the next way to do a monochromatic eye is you can go in with the same color but just in different depths. So I'm pulling into my Morphe palette right now. This is 35B, and I'm going to use these 3 purple shades here, and I'll be putting all of these in a crease. So first I'm going to start off with the lightest purple, and I'll be using this as a transition shade. And this is just the same way that people would go in with browns, but you do the same thing with whatever color it is that you want to work with. So next, after putting down a transition shade, I'm going in with a darker purple, and this I'll be using in my outer corner to deepen up my crease a little bit. Now I'm tapping into the darkest purple, and I'm just going to use that on the very outer corner of my eye, just to really deepen up the outer corner. And now for my lid, I'm going in with a lighter purple that I've sprayed my brush with, also from the Morphe palette. I guess this is Morphe Pink, but it's still in the purple family, so this will still be considered a monochromatic look. So as you can see, this eye is also monochromatic because we've used colors that are in the same color family within the same kind of color. It's just different depths of that color. So this eye looks a lot more three-dimensional than this eye, which is really just like 2 colors put on top of each other. And this is all like really in the same color scheme, like both of the greens are the same kind of strength, if that makes any sense. So here are 2 ways. I'm going to just finish up my lower lash line here that you can do monochromatic eyes, and both of these are very simple techniques, but it's a very easy way to really get into like the very colorful shadows, because you can really pick whatever color you want that day that's going to make you happy and put it on your eye using one of these techniques. And the reason why I like doing this is because it's so easy and it's really hard to mess up. As long as you stick within that one color, it's really going to look good no matter what you do, pretty much. But now I want to take this a step further, and I want to go into a little bit of color theory, but first I'm not going to put on any mascara or liner or anything like that, because this is all about the shadows and I don't want my eyes to get too irritated by the end of this. So I'm going to go take this off, and then we're going to get into a little bit more of the color theory stuff and a little bit more about how to pair different colors together and what colors are really going to complement each other. So I'll be right back. Alright, let's move on. So I'm going to put a color wheel up on the screen for you guys so you can follow along. Basically, the foundation of the color wheel, I don't know if you remember from school, are the 3 primary colors, which are red, blue, and yellow. So these are the primary colors, meaning that these are the colors that we use to create every color in the rainbow. So from your primary colors, we have secondary colors, which are the colors that are created by mixing 2 primary colors together. So if you mix red and yellow, it makes orange. So orange is a secondary color. And after the secondary colors, you have what's called the tertiary colors. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but basically a tertiary color is what happens when you mix a secondary color with a primary color. So that's basically like the whole color wheel put together. And now I want to get into colors that are complementary, meaning they are opposites on the color wheel. And these colors look really nice together because they contrast each other so much. So looking at the color wheel, you can see that blue and orange are complementary colors. So is red and green and purple and yellow. Now, here's the problem when it comes to putting these colors together, because if you have ever tried to mix, for instance, green and red, you know that these two colors will kind of muddy up and they will make more of like a brown grayish kind of tone. And this is because two complementary colors will cancel each other out. And that means that they will turn into a neutral kind of ashy looking brown. And I don't know if you ever dyed your hair, but this is why if you bleach your hair and you have a little bit of yellow tones in it, they will give you a purple shampoo to get rid of that brassiness or the yellow undertones in your hair, because the purple will cancel out the yellow. So I will show you an example now on why it's hard to blend these colors together. First, I want to just show you how gorgeous these colors are when you place them next to each other. And so this is beautiful, right? But now if you go in and think of this as eyeshadows, if you start trying to put down a yellow crease and then go in with the purple to deepen that up, I'll show you what happens. So I'm going to just swatch some of that purple on top of the yellow and just kind of really mix them together like you would if you were to blend eyeshadows. And if you see this now, like that really turned into like a really disgusting like brown color. And that is not at all what you want if you're working with purple and yellow. So the trick to using these colors is to place them next to each other so that they can complement each other, but without blending them together. And there are different ways to do that, and I will show you right now how you can do that in an easier way. So one way to make complementary colors work for you is to put the darkest complementary color that you want to use in your crease. And you can use more than one shade of purple if you want. I'm just going to use the same purple and just build up the crease with it. Now excuse this if it's looking a little bit patchy, but that's like not the whole point of this at all, to get the eyeshadows blended perfectly. But basically the easiest way to put a complementary color together on your eyes as eyeshadows is to use different formulas in eyeshadows. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to go in with two mattes that are both complementary colors and then try to mix them together, because if you ever end up blending them, they're going to muddy up like I showed you on my arm and make this like really nasty brown shade, which obviously you don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with a yellow, but I'm going to go in with a shimmery yellow and I'm going to foil it by spraying my brush. And now if you really wanted to go in with a matte, you could cut your crease and then really put like the matte like right next to the line without them overlapping. But if you go in with a shimmer and you gently just like tap it on top without mixing the colors together, so you're really just putting like a layer of the shimmer on top of what you already put down, you won't see these muddying together like you would if you had used mattes. And so the trick is just to pat it on in a pretty thick layer. And the same out here, you just want to gently tap to blend like so, and you can tell that these colors look really nicely together and they really make your eyes pop because they are complementary. And so here's one very easy way that you can use the complementary colors. I will show you a different way to do it. And for the next look, I'm going to use the complementary colors of magenta and lime green, again, as you can see on the color wheel right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this magenta shade all over my lid, like we did in that first look. And this is coming off a little bit too pink, actually. I'm going in with another shadow because this one sucks. I'm also going to put a shimmery shadow on top of this just because I can, and because honestly this is kind of looking like a mess because I didn't prime my eyes properly since last time I took it off. So now we have a magenta-y looking lid, and I'm going to go in with a lime green on my lower lash line. And this is a shimmer, and that's because that's the only lime green that I really have, but that's okay. So this is another way that you can work in complementary colors, is to use one on the top lid and one on your bottom lash line. And this way is really easy to do because the colors won't blend together because they're not really even touching, except for just like on the outer part where you can just like gently tap to blend them out. And you can also just put like a little bit of winged liner and that will kind of cover up and like blend the colors together for you. So here are two more ways that you could do colorful makeup, and this is with using complementary colors. Now I want to take this off and do another two looks for you just so we can move into a little bit more of a user-friendly colorful look while still mixing colors together. So I will be right back and we will do that. So now that we've talked about the colors that can be a little bit tricky to put together, I want to talk to you about the colors that are a lot easier to work with, and that's probably going to be the best way to really get into like using colors and having them not like be annoying and work against you, but rather have them work with you. So what you want to do is that you want to look at the color that is next to the color that you plan on using in the color wheel. So let's say I want to go in with a yellow crease. Now you put down the yellow and now you look at the color wheel and you're like, which colors are next to yellow? So you have the secondary colors, which are green and orange, and those would be two great colors to deepen up your crease with because you know that they're going to blend in easily together. If you move one step further, you can see that as a primary color, blue is next to yellow, and if you put blue on top of yellow, it'll make green. So maybe that'll make like a cool transition from blue to green. If you put the blue on the outer corner and kind of mix it into the yellow, you will make a green without having to put the green down first. So that's what I want to do. So now I want to go in with the blue on my outer corner and start working that in and up into my crease a little bit. And don't be alarmed if this doesn't make green right away, because you're probably going to have to go over it again with a little bit more blue. But the more you keep putting them on top of each other, the more you will see the color theory actually does work, and it's kind of cool. So you can see already now up in my crease that it's starting to look a little bit more green. Now I'm just going in with a little bit more of the yellow on top of where I put the blue. And you can see now that it's turning green on me, which is really freaking cool. And if you wanted to, you could also actually go in with a green. And then if you really wanted it to look like super green, you could go in with the green and then go in with the blue again after. And as you can see, the green blends in really nicely with the blue and with the yellow. I'm sorry about the lighting there, I don't really know what happened. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go back in and look at my color wheel and be like, which shadow do I want to put on my lid? So I'm going to go and look what is next to blue and what is next to green, because those are the shades that will be touching whatever we put on the lid. So next to green we have yellow, which we have in our crease, so we could definitely go in with a yellow on the lid if we wanted to. And next to the blue we have purple and green. So obviously we already have green here, and purple might be a little bit too dark to put on a lid, but we could put a different gradient of purple. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm going to go in with a dark blue shimmer, because for some reason it's being really patchy and weird on me right now. I think it's because I've taken my makeup off so many times. But just to like make that look a little bit better, I'm going in with a dark shimmer on my outer corner, and I'm going to fade that into a purple and then into a very light yellow. And so what I'm doing now is I'm going in with a blue based purple, and I'm placing that right next to the blue, the dark blue that we just put down. And since I'm using a shimmer, it's okay to put a purple on top of the green. You just have to be a little bit careful about the blending, because these two are complementary colors, so, or they're very close to complementary colors, so they do have a tendency to kind of want to muddy up a little bit. And as you can see, the blue is blending beautifully with the purple because they are next to each other on the color wheel. And next I'm going in with a very light, like duochromy yellow, and I'm tapping this on top of the purple like we did in that second look. Or maybe it was the third look, I forget, I did so many. And again, these are complementary colors, so you want to just tap them on top of each other. You could have also gone in with, say, a pink, because pink is next to purple on the color wheel if you wanted to go in that direction. There's so many different ways you could go. You could obviously make this look a lot cleaner if you did like a cut crease or something like that, but as you can see, like the colors are working pretty nicely together. They haven't muddied up because of what we put next to each other. I'm going to try to clean up this little fall that we have here. And I'm just making a mess in this video. On my face, that is. Also, as you can see, I decided to keep this eye mostly cool toned except for the warm transition shade. But since we blended that green into the yellow is looking more cool tone doing it that way. Now I want to do a warm tone look on this eye, so I'm going to start off the same way by using the yellow. And so this yellow actually is definitely on the cool tone side, but we're going to make this more warm tone by putting warm tones on top of it. And so next I'm going to deepen up the side using an orange shade. And I'll be doing the same technique that I just did on the other eye. So now when I look on the color wheel, I see that the purple is right next to the orange, so I'm going to deepen this up using purple. You could also, of course, use red if you wanted to, but I know that purple and orange will mix nicely together, and so it should be easy to get a good blend here. And since purple is the darker color of the two, it's a good color to deepen up the outer corner with. So once you got your crease shades down, you have to ask yourself, am I going in with a shimmery shade or a matte shade? If you're going in with a matte shade, you want to make sure that whatever it is that you are blending together are not going to be complementary colors because they will muddy up. But if you're going in with a shimmer, you can pretty much choose anything. So personally, I really like the look of green and purple together, and I also like the look of orange and green together. So I'm gonna go in with a green on my lid this time, and it has to be a shimmery shade, so I will be spraying my brush like I always do. So basically, moral of my story is that you need to be careful with which mattes you are mixing together, but when you start going in with the shimmers, you can really just have at it and play and go crazy, because the shimmers will just lay on top of the mattes if you're careful with how you place them down and not over blend them and just kind of pat them on. And they will really mix beautifully into whatever it is that you have underneath. And that's when you can really start like experimenting with different color combinations. And everything that I've said in this video that has to do with eyeshadows can obviously be applied to you know, your clothing or any other way that you use colors in your life. And also you can use different colors in your waterline depending on what colors you have on your lid and on your lower lash line and stuff like that. And so it's really just about experimenting and like figuring out what works for you, which colors you like, which colors look good on your skin tone. That could be another video that I could do and kind of explain why certain colors look better on certain skin tones. Let me know if you want to see that and how to figure out which colors look best on you, because I think that might be an interesting video, because I'm pretty lucky. I have very neutral undertones and I have brown eyes, so most things tend to look pretty decent on me. I don't have any that make me look, you know, really pale or like really bad in any way. So let me know if you want to see something like that and I will happily do that. I would obviously have to do a little bit of research myself just to make sure I get all the information correct. And even in this video, I am like not an expert on this by any means, but this is just from what I have personally researched and found out and tried on my eyes myself and kind of like learned by making mistakes. And I'm just kind of helping you to not make as many mistakes as I did when I first got started. So I hope this video was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions down below. Let me know if I can somehow make a part 3 of this and what you would like for that to be. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you are new here, I would love it if you would subscribe, and hopefully I will see you all in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!